to this meeting of Denby Parish Council, Full Council. The first item on the agenda is fire exits. Fire exits are located, the door that you came in is an exit as well as an entrance, directly across from here in the hall, across in the hallway, to the left and also to the far right of the building. Item 2 is recording to advise everybody present that this meeting will be recorded and uploaded to the Parish Council's YouTube channel. Item 3 is apologies, to receive apologies for absence, and I believe we've received apologies from Councillors Berry, Stallard and West. Thank you very much, we've noted those. Item 4 is declarations of interest. Arising from this agenda, members and officers are invited to declare any relevant interest. Notwithstanding this item, members may subsequently declare an interest at any point during the meeting. Are there any declarations of interest? Okay, thank you very much. Item 5 is to receive the minutes of the previous full council meeting. To receive and confirm the accuracy of the minutes of the full council meeting held on the 21st of June 2023 with the following amendment. A motion to suspend standing orders at 9:55 p.m. to allow the meeting to continue past 10 p.m. was proposed by Councillor Andrioli and was unanimously approved by Council. So those minutes have been circulated. With that amendment, is everybody agreed that they are a true record of the meeting? Thank you very much. I will sign those to be a true record. Thank you very much, Sarah. Item 6, Denby Parish Council projects, to receive the ongoing project list from the clerk. So we have the list. This is something new to shorten the agenda so that we are fully informed as to what is going on. Everything is put onto one list so that we don't have to refer back through minutes to see progress on projects. So it's health approved, and I think it's a very good amendment to our practice. So does anybody have any questions or comments on that list? Okay, thank you very much. So item 7 is the public participation session. The meeting will recess for not more than 15 minutes to allow any members of the public to address the meeting. So I will open the floor. If you wish to address council, could you state your name for record, please? Does anybody wish to address council? Okay, if nobody wishes to address council, then I will close the public session. And we will move on to item 8, which is to receive the minutes, reports, recommendations and resolutions from the meetings below. Due to time constraints, this item was deferred from the meeting of the 21st of June. In accordance with Standing Orders 12, the only minutes to be received by council are those that have been approved by the appropriate committee, and these are also available on our website. The Amenities Committee minutes of the 3rd of May and the 14th of June. Planning Committee minutes of the 26th of April, 17th of May, 7th of June and 28th of June. Finance, Administration and Personnel Committee minutes of the 19th of April and 31st of May. And Highways and General Purposes Committee minutes of the 12th of April and 24th of May. So those are received. Item 9 is to receive District Councillors' reports. Sorry, let's get slide. I've just come from a briefing to update on the local plan. Everybody will be aware that we are developing the neighbourhood plan in line with Winchester's local plan. Just received a briefing from the strategic planning manager, Adrian Fox, talking about timescales, priorities and consultations. They have undertaken the Regulation 18 consultation as they promised they would do so. That has come back with a significant level of responses, shall we say, some of them very in-depth, asking questions that the officers were not able to answer, specifically with regards to nitrates and phosphorus, because we have been designated this area by Natural England as being within the protected zones, and Winchester has both phosphorus and nitrates, so they need to do quite a lot more work on that. They're looking to develop a statement of common grounds with neighbouring councils and statutory agencies. They're also doing what they haven't done before, a site deliverability statement, which includes questions of each of the sites that have been put forward in the SHELAR. The people that have put them forward are happy to provide information on how they are going to mitigate their nitrates and phosphates, which is very interesting. They're also looking at the sequential assessment of site allocations where they're co-located. They are updating their statement of community involvement, and then we'll have to run everything through the integrated impact assessment and habitats regulations assessments. So all of this, along with the changing face of central government policies and the nitrate neutrality from Natural England, they're basically saying that they're going to have to change the time span for delivering the local plan. Regulation 19 was due to be consulted in this, I believe, this autumn. That is now being moved to Q2 in 2024. The examination will be in Q4 of 2024. And adoption of the local plan is now planned for Q4 2025. This then means that the local plan will move from 2020 to 2039, 2019 to 2039 to 2020 to 2040. So they are now expecting the public consultation for Regulation 19 to be August, September 24. So for us as a parish council, that obviously extends the time span for us implementing the neighbourhood plan. That's the district councillor update so far. Anybody have any questions? I can give you a more detailed briefing later. Okay, thank you. So item 10 is orders for payment, financial. To consider and approve the orders for payments, list 6 has been circulated. We'll just double check. I'm not one. I don't even want it. No, I'm not. Is everybody agreed that I should sign the orders for payment? Could I have a show of hands, please? Thank you. That's unanimous. Thank you very much. And then item B is Hampshire Trust Bank, account number 112148858. It's a one-year business bond which matured on the 1st of August 23, and we are invited to consider the reinvestment of the funds totaling £31,560.95 into a further business bond, or to withdraw the funds in their entirety as they are allocated against the multi-use games area. The RFO has said to be consistent and mindful that the project is anticipated to commence within this financial year. Her recommendation is to withdraw the funds in readiness for the expenditure on the Mugger, as this was the preferred option when we invested the funds in the first place. And account number 1006722 matured on the 13th of the 4th, 2022. Minute reference 00723 FANP 7.4 at the meeting held on the 27th of the 4th, 22. The funds to be deposited into the current operational Lloyds account number 2336468, and we're invited to discuss and determine action. Councillor Brown and then Councillor Puccini.
Thanks. I would go on the recommendation of RRFO.
Thank you, Councillor Puccini.
I just wanted to check with the clerk whether it's still sort of her understanding that the work on the Moogle will be able to commence this financial year based on where we currently are with planning.
So we're going to decide on the planning positioning of the mug at the entrance tonight, and if we do, that'll go up to Winchester, and I can see no reason that Jordan and Wiseman will refuse us. That was the one specific request.
In which case, I second Councillor Brown's proposal to accept the RFO's recommendation.
Thank you. So we have a proposal and a seconder. Can I have a show of hands, those that agree that we should withdraw the funds in preparation for expenditure on the mugger? That is also unanimous. Thank you. Councillor Andrioli, there is a form that you and I both need to sign after the meeting. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So item 11 is resignations from council. The following resignations were received. Councillor Watley has resigned from council. No poll has been received, and the council are invited to agree to co-opt for this vacancy. Councillor Watley emailed in on June 7th and said, please accept this letter as my resignation from council. I don't have the time or energy to try and support our village when there are so many on council who have other agendas. It has not been a pleasant experience, and I feel I am wasting my time. So we're invited to discuss and determine. No poll has been received. Councillor Andrioli.
It's whether or not we agree to co-opt, Chair, and this is what we're discussing. We normally would, so I propose that we agree to co-opt or offer for co-option that vacancy.
Thank you, Councillor Brown.
I second that proposal.
Can I have a show of hands then, please? All those that agree that we can co-opt. Thank you very much. That's also unanimous. And item B, Councillor Walsh has resigned from council. We have declared a casual vacancy with Winchester. If no poll is called, the council is invited to co-opt from this vacancy. Councillor Walsh emailed saying, after a few days to think about it, I have decided to step down as a councillor for DPC. The principal reason being related to work. As you know, I work shifts, and last Friday I received my new roster. I won't bore you with the complex world of railway diagramming that I took from learning new routes, and as a result, it sees me unavailable to attend any of the next 4 council meetings for this year. For my own conscience and integrity, this is simply untenable for me. Part of being a councillor is attending council and being fully involved in taking decisions. Missing a few is okay, but as I always said prior to taking up the role, if I got into a position where I would miss more than a couple in a row, I would seriously consider my position. I just never thought I would be this unlucky with the shift pattern, and I'm not in a position to get accommodated by my employer to support this role. I'm happy for you to share my reasons with other members, and I hope you will pass on my thanks for the warm welcome I have received. From the last council meeting, it appears there are still some big issues to overcome, but you especially have an advocate in me. It's very clear your heart and soul in this, and despite a few intent on slagging you off and bringing you down, it's clear to me Denmead and DPC is rated because of you. Keep going and keep doing your best wishes. So we are invited to co-opt for this vacancy. Councillor Brown.
There's only ever poll called in the meantime.
That's correct, but we can actually say that if no poll is called, we will agree to.
Just about to say, if there's no poll called, then we co-opt.
Thank you. Councillor Andrioli.
Seconded.
Can I have a show of hands then, please? If no poll is called, we agree to co-opt. Thank you, that's unanimous. Item 12 is reports from parish representations on other bodies and organisations. Due to time constraints at the last meeting, this item was deferred from the meeting of the 21st of June. Item A DCC, Denby Community Centre, councillors Andrioli and Brown.
Councillor Andrew, we'll have to get the latest update because I was otherwise occupied.
The only, I think, significant, other than what's on our agenda, the only significant thing that came out of last week's meeting was that they are discussing, mainly due to cost of fuel for this place, increasing the rents for everybody. So I think we should expect to see an increase. They were mainly discussing one of the other major occupants that probably won't come before January because they realised that what they normally would do is inform people in March that there would be a rent raise in September, and they haven't done so. So, yeah, like everybody, including the council, they are feeling the pinch of the increase in fuel costs.
Okay.
Well, the only other significant item was part of our agenda.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for Councillor Andrioli? Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to item B, which is Winchester District Association of Local Councils and Southern Parishes. That's also Councillor Andrioli.
Yet again, the Winchester District Association of Local Councils decided to have a meeting on a Wednesday evening. I think I managed to get to one so far, and that wasn't on a Wednesday. This particular one was actually on, I think, planning evening, so it was even worse. Southern Parishes hasn't met for since before the last full council. They had a very long briefing from the monitoring officer, and she took up an hour and 3/4 of a 2-hour, supposedly 2-hour meeting. But as she also spoke to us at our last meeting, I've heard her 3 times recently. And they asked us, which we agreed at the last meeting, the last all councils, to agree to their updated version of the NOC articles, which we did at the last meeting. So I don't think there's anything particularly further to report on Southern Parishes. I know the clerk was intending to listen in on the WDALC meeting. I don't know if she did in the end.
I did. She did. I can brief you later. I can send you an email. It's on my list to do, Councillor. There was no, from what you've just said, there wasn't anything extra.
Okay.
To say that they'd support it out.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. So we move on to item C, which is Hambledon and District Welfare and Education Trust. Again, Councillor Andrioli.
Yes, we have had a meeting. We only one every 6 months, so we had one in June, and we actually gave a grant to a scout so that she could pay for the private £200 needed for 2 injections so she could attend the Scout Jamboree in South Korea. She can make fundraising and ask for some support, and so we gave her a grant to pay for her injections because those of you who go abroad know that if it's not a normal thing, you have to pay for yourself. So that's it basically.
Thank you very much. So we move on to item D, Denby Twinning Association, Councillor Clay.
Yeah, we've got some social events coming up. First one, Saturday, 14th of October, which is the Fish and Chips Big Quiz, which will be held at All Saints Church. Teams of 6 to 8. Friends welcome, not just members. On Saturday, the 25th of November, is the Barn Dance with special food and music. And the Great Stony Ridge will be in attendance. Apparently, they make a wonderful sound, and there will be a caller present to help you deal with the steps. We have a date for the AGM, which will be next year in January at the Waterville Golf Club. And that's it for the dates so far.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure everybody's noted those dates in their diaries. So we move on to item E, Scouts Liaison, Councillor Brown.
We've not had a meeting yet, not a liaison meeting anyway with the Scouts. They've just had their AGM, and we are due to arrange a meeting, but I need someone else to come along with me because I'm not allowed to go as a single councillor. Not I'm single, I'm married, but you know what I mean.
Low. So do,
It's on
so we do that. Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, thank you, Councillor Brown. So we'll move on to the football liaison, Councillor Virginie.
Yeah, so Councillor Brown and I met with the chair of the Denver Football Club on the 31st of May. He raised a few points, which quite handily we were having a immunities committee meeting the fortnight after, so some of them have already been dealt with. He requested some changes to invoicing. They did ask for a Simon Pavilion, and we're in negotiations about what form that would take at the moment. They wanted to give a boot cleaner, which has been given, but I know that's subsequently been subject to some vandalism, which isn't good. One thing that we're looking into for them is whether there are any options around a longer term tenure agreement to give them some security, because that's something that the sort of English body that oversees that area of football has asked all grassroots club to have. And as soon as we've got a new liaison, a second liaison point nominated, hopefully later this evening, I can go ahead and set up the next meeting calendar.
Super, thank you very much. Item G is the lease working party, Councillors Brown, Jones and Berry.
We've had several meetings since our last council, one of which obviously with the DCC, with summaries to be discussed later this evening. So we look forward to that. We've also had a very constructive meeting with the Scouts, and the intention is to produce a draft document similar to the one we've done for DCC, which will be on next month for council.
Okay, thank you very much. Item 13 is policy. Sorry.
Sorry, Chair, can I just mention, I was approaching up at the last school council, I think, a chance, and the DVA is missing from the representatives report, which I think is myself and Councillor Stella.
We don't have an official representation at the Village Association.
We agreed in May. Double check for me. I'm sure we've got our hands up for it.
We did, indeed. Same as the War Memorial Hall, we don't have a representative there, so we attend you can attend the AGM if you wish to, but we don't actually have an official council representative on the Village Association or the War Memorial Hall Committee. Okay, thank you. Item 13 is policy reviews. Due to time constraints, this item was deferred from the meeting on the 21st of June. So it's to receive and review the following policies as part of the ongoing review programme. The staff handbook and contract have been reviewed at FAMP, and DPC solicitors have also now reviewed them with comments added. So it is to review and adopt. I've just had one query, which when I was reading through it earlier, came to mind. I should have the page. It was in hand, but maybe it wasn't. Sorry. Next time I'll put that in page. There was the contract. We don't have anything about pro-rata part-time staff.
This is a template, and every contract will be personal to that person, so if it's pro-rata, it will be.
So the contract will be amended if it's pro-rata.
So it'll be amended and personal, and when that is uploaded onto the screen, whoever's filling it in will have tick boxes, check boxes at every point to remind them. Barry has already worked out.
I've seen the original, which is,
Yeah.
it's got all the
So
notes
they're
down.
not, it's not generic, it can't
Right,
be,
fine.
we're too diverse in our
Okay.
workforce to allow that, so that's why. So that is the bog standard 10 pay for a full-time.
Okay, the only other query I had was, again, in the contract with regards to paid leave. We've got emergency leave and compassionate leave. Have we got that defined anywhere as to the term?
We are updating our policy to match those, which is part of the ongoing HR review we're doing now.
Okay,
So that came from TOSAS to say that that is the wording that we should currently use. What we're now doing is with our HR policies, so our compassionate, our 2-day leave and things like that, will all be updated to reflect that document.
okay, so that will be, those policies will be coming back to FAB.
Of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. I just
We've
wanted
got-
to make sure that we've got everything tied up across all of the
That's
relevant
the document, that and the contract and the handbook.
master
Master
documents. Okay, that's absolutely fine.
So
I don't have any
check
further queries. Did anyone else have any queries on either the staff handbook or the contract? Okay, can I suggest in that case that we adopt those policies? Show of hands, please. Thank you, that's unanimous. And then the next item is the tree protocol, version 1, to receive and adopt. Councillor Puccini.
So I think for me, the key point in the true protocol, which I think is adequately represented, and I've got a bit confused with all the different scenarios, and it's something we agreed at amenities last week, is that no works will go ahead without the insurance companies go ahead, that we are permitted to do that. But I think that was covered in the protocol, if you want to confirm that. And I presume when it says parish clerk, by that you mean sort of the team that sits under you as well, so.
Yeah, the scheme of delegation, you'll find that, yes, anything to do with amenities in my TOR is delegated down. It sits with me, but obviously then we would then look at the scheme of delegation to see that it's delegated appropriately to the amenities part, which is answered. So yes.
In which case I'm happy to approve it.
That's my only query as well. Okay, so do we have any further queries? Councillor Brown. Oh, okay. Thank you. So Councillor Puccini has proposed, Councillor Brown has seconded. Can we have a show of hands then, please? Thank you very much. That's also unanimous. We then move on to item 13C, procurement policy to receive and adopt. I don't think I have any comments on this one. Councillor Andreoli?
I don't have a question about the policy. I do have a question from the clerk, if I may.
Of course.
Whether Councillor West is happy with it, because he's the one who's most seems to be most opinionated about. That's not the right word. He's the most informed. He was the most vociferous about the previous one, and I just wondered.
He did give some updates, and this is the second time he's been back.
Right.
So, and yes, he was.
Obviously, had he been here, he would available. He would have said it himself. But
Yeah. He's been very helpful.
yeah.
Sorry, is that a question or?
I was just going to say, if Councillor West had any issues with it and being on this agenda, I'm sure we could email him.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Yeah. Okay, having said that, I didn't have any comments, I've realised I do. On page 4, we've got contracts and purchases below 5,000. Best practice recommends 2 quotes or prices. I thought we normally got 3.
It's just best practice, and that's the lowest amount. So we get 3, and that's according to our standing orders. But when we update our standing orders, we will use best practice. But if you want 3, you'll decide that or whatever, when you choose. But best practice, according to NALC and the legal topics, is that we get 2. And if we go into tender for a new build, then we.
Oh, that's completely different.
Exactly,
tender, isn't it?
but yeah, below 5,000 is, that is what best practice is seen.
Okay, Councillor Brown?
Seeing as we quite often put things out for jobs out for tender with pricing, and we only ever get 2 people come back, and we have to say that we put it out and then 2 have come back anyway, so that's what's recommended.
Okay. Okay, fine. So we'll stick with 2 on there. And then on page 6, we've got no negotiation on contracts whose value is more than £25,000 can take place without reference to the chairman of the council and chairman of finance and general purposes committee. Yes. Okay. So with those amendments, are we happy to receive and adopt the procurement policy as before us? Show of hands, please. Thank you very much. That's also unanimous. Item 14 is the neighbourhood plan to receive an update. Councillor Andreoli, as chair of the steering group, would you please provide an update?
I did, but
Well, would you like to summarise it then?
yeah, sorry. So, I wasn't expecting to speak at this point, sorry.
Would you like me to summarise?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I just have a quick mouthful of water. Basically, as I put in my written report, the chairman and I attended a meeting with 2 officers at Winchester to make representations, or argue if you like, over the allocation of housing they wish to give us in the extended neighbourhood plan, which we've already discussed this evening. They told us a few years back that any development or office conversions at Parklands would be counted towards any allocation given to Denmead, and basically they're reneging on that commitment. They're now saying that they can only count from 2019. I suspect from today's news that we go back, it'll be from 2020. So they have made a slight allowance for some of the development at Parklands, but not much. And they're still saying they want us to take 100 houses in addition to what's already allocated in the current neighbourhood plan. Their Regulation 18 plan, which is the one that came out last year, had a clause in it which said that all greenfield site development should take place from 2030 onwards, which, if that were to be true, would mean that the current neighbourhood plan would be valid, still stay valid, and we need to look at allocating housing beyond the current neighbourhood plan time. However, we have had at least one developer tell us that that will be challenged as soon as it's put out and will be struck down by the big developers, which means that we are likely to need to find 100 houses if Winchester has their way before the end of the current neighbourhood plan. I put to the 2 officers that if they wished to say that, then they should be honest and not disingenuous and say Denmead's allocation is 200 houses and they've already had 100, because we have had 100 at Parklands. And they said, no, we can't possibly do that because all the other parishes will want us to do the same. To which I did not respond and let them think what they'd said. So as it stands, the chairman and I left the meeting with our position being, we don't believe we should have any allocation, but if they insist, then they should be honest and admit the 100 we've already had. And their response is, well, sorry, what we said 5 years ago was in good faith, but it no longer holds, and you need to take 100 more houses. So our district councillors are taking up the baton because they don't like it either. I mean, I know one of them's in the room, but all three of them are trying to arrange a meeting with the head of planning to have a go back, because they promised us that what was at Parklands would be counted, and it isn't being. I think that basically sums it up here. And until we had a neighbourhood plan steering group meeting last night, and there's not a great deal we can do until this question is answered. Because if we don't have to allocate any sites for development, then we don't need to discuss the sites that are in the Sheila. And if we do have to, then we have to sort of work our way through. But the fact that they've gone back now to late 2024 with the Winchester plan basically means we're twiddling our thumbs for a time as well, because we always said we will fit in with it so that we come forward at the same time as the local plan.
Thank you. Councillor Brown?
I think Emmy's policy ought to be that we refuse the extra 100 and make it zero, because we have already had the 100 and we are then effectively, as you just said, taking double what larger villages and towns around this area are taking.
No, Bishop's Waltham, New Alresford, and what's the other one? I think theirs is 300. So we are being treated as a rural, but yes, you are quite correct. However, we did ask the question in the meeting, what happens if we refuse? And they said that all planning applications go in direct to Winchester, and therefore they would make the allocation themselves in any case.
Also,
Councillor Brown.
the agreement wasn't a verbal agreement, it was actually a written
It was indeed
agreement,
in
which
writing.
would stand up in a court of law, I would have thought.
Councillor Puccini?
Is there anything to prevent us from sort of publishing the letter from Winchester, putting it out on our website and social media and saying that they're reneging on the agreement, and getting our our residents to, whether it's a petition or basically get some wind behind it to try and sway Winchester?
If Councillor Green, the approach that I would like is to get the meeting with Councillor Porter. We had a meeting with her a few months ago. I showed her the email which said that Parklands would be taken into consideration, and her words were, well, that's quite clear. If there's been 50 at Parklands, then your allocation of the 100 is 50. You've got 50 left to find. That's quite clear, and that's how the meeting was left. I subsequently went back and said, thank you very much for your time. We've now done the analysis of the development of Parklands. I listed all of the planning application references, which showed that it had been, I think it was 98 at Parklands conversions, which left us with 2. Did they require us to do a site allocation for the 2? And that's when we were then required to go into Winchester for a meeting where they told us our allocation was still 100. So I would like to go back to Councillor Porter. As Councillor Andrioli said, the 3 district councillors, myself and Councillor Brooke and Reid, are trying to get an appointment with the head of planning. So 2-pronged approach, one with the staff and one with the councillors, to gain agreement. So I think if we don't make any progress at that point, then we should do exactly as you've suggested. Councillor Andrioli?
I have great sympathy with Councillor Brown's opinion that one of our options should be that this council rejects them. It doesn't necessarily get us further forward, but because if we don't update the neighbourhood plan as they require us to do, it will then get struck down by developers appealing that the neighbourhood plan is not up to scratch, which then leaves a free for all in Denmead. As the chair said, basically means that any developer can put in a planning application for any piece of land, and it would be left to Winchester to decide the validity, because there would be no neighbourhood plan supporting or denying any particular site. So while my personal feeling is that to say to Winchester, we reject your 100, would be give me a great deal of satisfaction, shall I say, looking at it from the point of view of being a councillor and responsible to the village. I don't believe that we can unfortunately do that without putting the village at risk of getting a heck of a lot more than 100. I'll make myself understood on why. I too feel that would be a way forward, but not for the benefit of the village.
Councillor Kay.
I propose that we go ahead with Councillor Lambert's proposal, we have the meeting, and we follow up afterwards with the publication of the letter.
Thank you. Councillor Ray.
I should just point out that the report you've had, which I've given you verbally as well this evening, has also gone to the steering group and is going into the next step in scene. So it's which is under development at the moment. So sorry to carry on.
No, that's fine. So I proposed and Councillor Clay has seconded. Can we have a show of hands, please? Thank you. That's unanimous. Item 15, current Sheila site of the health centre the health centre has been put forward to be included in the Sheila for development. I believe it's proposed for 10 houses on the site, 9 or 10.
Something like that, yeah.
So we are suggesting that we make it a community asset, or we apply for it to be made a community asset to discuss determine action. Councillor Vicini and Councillor Scaly?
I'd say yes.
Thank you.
I was just going to inquire who actually owns it.
There's a story there. So Councillor Andreoli, as chair of the steering group, wrote to everybody who has put land forward, and we want to know whether or not it still is in the Sheila, but we didn't know who owned the health centre. So we did a land registry search and wrote to the person who was, or who we thought had put it in. Hadn't heard anything. So Sarah chased it up, or the letter was returned. Not known at this address. So Sarah did some investigation for us and found a different address, so we've now sent the letter to there. Councillor Andreoli?
I think it's only fair to point out that nobody at the health centre had any idea until, because initially I wrote to them, but nobody at the health centre had any idea this had happened. And the doctors, we understand, are not happy at all about it. So it's not actually anybody from the health centre who's put it forward.
I'm sorry, I did Councillor Brown first and then Councillor Vicini. Thank you.
I understand the plot was put in as a community asset, and we're looking to do get the allotment side for a public building like that. Are we able to?
I believe we are actually.
We are.
Councillor James?
Yeah, I looked up earlier, an asset of community value is a building, a piece of land is used to further the social well-being or interests of the local community. And it actually quoted the health centre as an example.
Sorry, Councillor Vicini.
Sorry, I put a bit ahead of myself and I said, yes, list it. What is the implication of being a community asset? It doesn't mean that we as parish council have to.
No, it doesn't. So it means that if it's going to be sold for any reason, they have to give a 6 months notice period for the community to be able to fundraise to purchase. Councillor Scaly? Oh, sorry. So Councillor Vicini has proposed that we do put the health centre forward to list as an asset of community value. Councillor Brown.
I would second it, and if we are to get an extra allocation of an extra 100 houses, it means the house centre is even more important. Because we will have more people living in this village. We don't have enough doctors there at the moment as it is.
Thank you. So we have a proposal, we have a seconder. Can I have a show of hands, please? Thank you very much. That's agreed unanimously. So item 17 is parish representation of local bodies. Sorry, 16. Sorry, yeah. Item 16, application for SIL from Winchester City Council to formulate a request to Winchester regarding an application for a community infrastructure levy grant towards the cost of new offices or a community build. So I'm reliably informed that 93% of SIL money is spent in central Winchester on central Winchester projects, but it is for the whole of the Winchester district. I'm also reliably informed that they've got something like 70 million sat there, that they're waiting for large projects to approach them to spend the SIL money. So I think it would be a very good opportunity for us. The clerk attended a different parish council. Can you just update council on the building? I know you said it was FA, but
Yeah, so I visited Sheffield Parish Council, and they've just had a new pavilion put in. It's on those, it's not in the same scale as we're looking at. It's just a small single-storey building with two separate entrances, but the funding that they had was from the Football Association, from the SIL money, from Sports England, and the help they had as well from the funding lady in Hampshire. She actually held their hand the whole way through because they really want these buildings built, and it was lovely. And she was super helpful, and Sheffield Parish Council clerk, who I network with quite a lot, is prepared to help me through the process if we decided to go through. So,
thank you, Sarah. Councillor Virginie.
So I absolutely think that we should apply for funding from some other sources, but when we know what we want, and I think it might be a bit premature at the moment because we haven't got a proposal and all of the sort of information that we need. Is there any reason why we need to apply for it now? Is there a funding window that we would lose if we waited, or is it a rolling thing?
It's a rolling, the pot is the pot, the SIL pot, and they're not allowed to use it for anything other than infrastructure projects.
In which case I'd say absolutely use all that funding, but I would say we probably need to wait until we know exactly what we want to do first.
Councillor Brown?
I think it's worth investigating on where we can go and how much we're likely to be able to get, because that could affect on potentially what could
Scale of the build, etc. Councillor Andreoli.
I did hear, Chair, information to suggest that Havant Borough Council will actually ask for some Winchester SIL.
They have indeed. They've asked for £200,000 towards the leisure centre in Waterlooville. And as far as I'm aware, Winchester are minded to give that because it could be used by residents of Denmead as well. And they haven't got projects to spend it on.
No further comment.
I use it. I'm sure that's the
Councillor Brown.
On the other side of that, you could say that residents who haven't used the recycling centre for TIP, which is in the Winchester district. So there are evenings.
Cross-border working.
Yes.
So can I have a proposal, please?
I
Councillor Brown.
propose we ask the clerk to look into the funding streams that are available and the amounts of funding that can be applied for and what they can do.
Do you have a seconder? Councillor Virginie, seconded. Thank you. Can I have a show of hands then, please? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Now it's item 17, parish representation on other bodies and organisations. To assign a councillor as the Scouts and football liaisons. It doesn't have to be the same councillor or vote. Councillor Puccini, you're the football liaison, aren't you? I'm happy to join you so that I don't join the Scouts.
Oh, don't take that personally. Sorry about that. I'm sure she didn't mean it that way.
So I'm volunteering to join the football. Do you have a councillor that's prepared to not join the Scouts, but be the Scouts liaison?
They would actually
With
want people to join the
Councillor
Scouts.
Brown, Councillor Andrew, Councillor Jones. Thank you very much. Can I have a show of hands then, please? All those that are agreed that I should join Councillor Puccini and Councillor Jones should join Councillor Brown as the relevant liaison. Thank you very much. That's unanimous. Item 18 is speed restriction measures. outside of Denmead Infant School. We had speed restriction measures implemented outside of the infant school, and we were assured by Hampshire County Council that there were no plans to remove the school crossing patrols. However, I was reading the budget, was doing the budget consultation for Hampshire County Council, and whilst doing this, I noticed they currently have a budget of 1.1 million for school crossing patrols. But then in the savings, they plan to make savings of 1.1 million on school crossing patrols. That says to me that they're thinking of either asking the schools to fund it, or they're planning on withdrawing lollipop people. So I thought council ought to have a discussion. Councillor Brown?
First thing I'd say about this item is it's on the wrong agenda. Anyway,
My apologies, I asked for it to go on the agenda.
I am quite happy if we wish to write and ask what is likely to happen if they are looking at doing away with them. I think we ought to, as it's quite an important thing outside the school to have a crossing person there.
Councillor Virginie?
Happy with that, depending on the result, if they are thinking of getting rid of them, I think we do just need to check with the school whether they see that as an issue, because actually they might find it not as useful as it once was, and they might not feel sorry about it. If they do, then obviously we might need to act.
Shall we do the two at the same time? So contact the school, and perhaps I could go and meet with the head of the school and see whether or not they think it's an issue. Councillor Scully?
Yes, I think we should talk to the minister about it, and at the same time say to them, because we need to know if we need to approach the school and see what their opinion of this is, and the parents as well.
I think it might take quite a long time for Hampshire to come back to us with an answer, and then by the time that they've come back, it may well be too late to speak to the school. Councillor Brown?
And there would also be the thought that if they are looking to do away with the crossing person, that we need to look into upgrading the crossing there and ask for it to be a two-can.
Well, it's no.
It's got flashing lights at the moment, there's no crossing lines.
That's a pelican.
And two-can is the one with the button.
Yeah.
A two-can is a two-can, it's a pedestrian and bike.
So we write to Hampshire County Council and ask, I'm just summarising the proposal, so I've got it clear in my mind. So we write to Hampshire County Council and say, we noted the budget consultation, the budget is 1.1 million and they're looking to make savings of 1.1 million. What are the alternatives that they're putting into place? And at the same time, we contact the school and ask for a meeting to ask if they've been made aware of this, and if so, do they have concerns? What plans are they potentially putting in place? Because then we need to come back and possibly have a discussion here. Possibly, I'm thinking in terms of budget, maybe assisting the school if need be. That's for James.
I don't need a meeting, I think you should write them a letter, because they'll let you know if they need a meeting, if they have concerns, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Councillor Virginie?
Happy with that, with the slight amendment, if we're writing to the school in parallel, that we just caveat that we don't know for certain this is what's happening at the moment, but it's what is happening.
Yeah. Okay, so I've summarised the proposal. Do I have a seconder? I should write that. Councillor Jones. So can we have a show of hands then, please? Thank you very much. Item 19 is victim support. Thank you. So due to time constraints, this item was deferred from the meeting on the 21st of June. Victim support thank us for the grant of £500. So we note that. Item 20, the multi-use games area, 10623C. Full council are asked to confirm the location of the multi-use games area, as this avoids any conflict with trees. We're also invited to confirm that vehicles will enter and exit the site. This is for development purposes only. We're not planning on doing parking on KGV, using the north entrance. So Martin Dobson Associates, our tree people, have done a tree protection area and provided us with a location plan which avoids all of the trees, both the category A, B, C. I can't even see that. I need to go to Specsavers. Category U trees. Councillor Brown.
I suppose we go with the proposal from the Mark Dobson, because it protects the trees, takes it out of the reach of the roots, which would also protect the surface. And also the fact that we'd already decided that we would use Southwark entrance.
There's no resolution for that.
Then we should use Southwark Road entrance because it doesn't go through a housing estate and only affects 2 houses.
Councillor Virginia?
Can I just double check the diagram? So does that put it right? That puts it right up near the fence, doesn't it?
Puts it up against the path.
So, sorry, if you're standing at the pavilion looking up towards the Southwark Road entrance, there are the trees that line the edge of the park, and there's the path, so it'll be on against the path.
It'd be to the path, it would be to the left-hand side of the path, but right next to it.
Okay, so between the path and the trees.
Between the path and the trees, but avoiding the roots, the trees.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Jones has seconded. Can I have a show of hands then, please? Thank you. So this is one of those from Tuesday. I'll approve it. Perfect. Thank you very much. Item 21 is the Christmas fair, to receive a quote and update and to discuss and determine action. Can I just advise that the document that came out said jingle and mingle, but I asked for that to be changed for obvious reasons. So it's now gone out with Devon Christmas cheer. The event is being held on Friday the 22nd of December. So we have a quote in front of us. Katie has come back with a quote of £2,541.96, which includes project management, lighting, banners, tent hire, table hire, and weights for the marquee, because obviously at that time of year we have no concept what the weather is going to be. So she has come to us. She's also liaising for that with local businesses. We are liaising with the Scouts to make sure that we're not clashing with the Scouts event. Santa is arriving at 6:30, so we will stop. So I think the Rowans are going to be doing winter pins or something like that, but Scouts are doing mulled wine or something. So when the Scouts start doing the mulled wine, the Rowans will stop doing the pins so that we're not clashing. And the activity will take place outside of the shops, and then people go across the road because the carol service and the Scouts are in the church car park. There wasn't room for everything to be because the church won't allow us to use the grass area because of the time of year, obviously. So, Councillor Brown?
A couple of things. I presume we have budget for this.
We do.
And we're not looking to put road closures, only going to be on the shop fronts.
It's on the shop fronts, there's no road closure. We did discuss that, but we felt that it was just the wrong time of year to be closing the road. We also discussed potential impact on the businesses, but we feel that quite often people say, well, we shouldn't do anything because it's very close to Christmas, but then nothing happens very close to Christmas. So yes, it will be outside of the shops, and we do have budget because we're not doing the apple day. And we normally ask Katie to organise the apple day for us. We think this will be better attended. Councillor Brown?
I propose we try for this year and go see how it goes from there.
Councillor Andreoli?
I'll second. I mean, round it last year when it didn't happen like it did pre-COVID, we got a lot of complaints. Why aren't you doing it? When it wasn't us that did it. So I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. So we have a proposal from Councillor Brown and a seconder from Councillor Andreoli. Can I have a show of hands, please? That's unanimous. Thank you. Item 22 is council strategy. To receive the forward strategy until 2027. So we met the other evening and went through council strategy. Sarah and I have updated the table, which has been circulated to everybody, to discuss and determine action. Councillor Puccini?
Thanks. I was probably happy with it. One thing I haven't seen it, and I've just seen it, so I'll shut up.
Is there anything further that anybody wishes to consider adding? No? In which case I suggest we adopt this as our strategy going forward and we can communicate accordingly. And I have a seconder, please. Councillor Jones, and show of hands then, please. Thank you very much. Item 23 is the logo, to receive an update. So at the last meeting, it was discussed that people weren't that keen on the logo, so I agreed that I would write a brief. I've done so, that has been circulated. I asked for any further input from anybody. I couldn't find your email. You said under the keywords about what Dunley Parish Council is, I'd put approachable, authoritative and knowledgeable, and you came up with a different word from authoritative.
I did.
You said it sounded a bit like authoritarian, and that's certainly not what I meant.
I'll find my email.
Thank you. So do we have any further comments? The other thing that I was going to suggest is, being a marketeer myself, I'm not a graphic designer, so having the logo go to a marketing agency may well not be the best approach. I put a question out on Facebook as to whether or not there were any graphic designers living in the village, and had several, probably about 5 or 6 people approach saying, yes, I live in the village, or my business is based in the village and I'm a graphic designer. What do we think about saying that we put a sum of money, say for example £500? Perfect.
Oh, thanks,
Okay, can I see that and I'll amend it afterwards? Thank you. Put a sum of money up, say £500, and do it as a competition. Or would we prefer to go to the designers and say, this is the budget, can you come back to us? And the one that we like, I don't think we can really do that, so you get paid for it. I think Councillor Clay was first, and then Councillor Brown, and then Councillor Staley.
I like the competition idea. I think it's, your logo, your village, get involved, have a go, see what we come up with. I like that idea. It might generate some good publicity as well. And get people involved.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Brown?
Actually, the other way, I don't like the idea of putting out a competition like that unless, especially if you're talking about £500, they probably won't want to do it. Because it's not a great sum of money to get someone to design something.
Councillor Staley?
Well, I can say I like the idea, but I don't think they'll go for it, if I really say, because if they put a lot of effort into designing something, and then they're real, they're not going to be too sharp about it, so I'm not so sure they'll sign on. Nice idea.
Councillor Jones, then Councillor Andrioli, and then Councillor Brown.
We surprised a lot of graphic designers. Their business is not known locally, so it's an opportunity for them to be known locally. And it's not overly complicated to come up with a design. It might take them 3-4 hours, it might take them 8 or 12. I think if they live in the village, it's an opportunity for them to give their all on behalf of its residents.
Councillor Andrioli, Councillor Brown, and then Councillor Staley.
I think, well, having found a bunch of graphic designers, it might be worth sending them the brief and say, given that they will get the publicity for the fact that they designed a new council logo, how much would they charge us to match the brief? In terms of, and then effectively put it out to tender.
Okay, Councillor Brown, and then Councillor Staley.
I think that's sort of opening a checkbook, doing it in that direction. The other alternative I thought was that we have some colleges near.
Two of the people have just left college, which is how I came up with the idea of a competition. It's potentially could get them started in a career. Councillor Scully?
Yeah, we said their results they put forward would be put into a competition where the people then need to choose and they could get their names advertised or something. We need to get them some advertising, really, so their business gets known in some way or shape.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts were if we have a competition, we could then post all the logos and say this is the one that the council have chosen. Obviously, we have a meeting, bring them to a meeting, and we could all choose which logo. Councillor Clay and then Councillor Brown.
I'd propose to go with that. I like that idea a lot. I think it would do us really good community, so that's what I agree with that proposal. If we're doing it.
Councillor Brown.
Can you clarify what the proposal was?
That we have a competition, so we let all of the people that have contacted me to say their graphic designs know that we're running it as a competition. We agree a prize fund, and we ask them to enter, so we'll set up terms and conditions, deadline, etc. Bring the logos to a council meeting, which will be in the terms and conditions, and we pick a logo, and so they'd all get promoted because we would say that they've all been submitted.
So it's council that.
Council decides on the logo.
The last thing we want to end up is them needing voting at both places.
Yes, Councillor Clay.
For further audiences, we're going to advertise it on our website as well. Yeah.
And Facebook pages, etc. Yeah. Councillor Puccini.
Can I just make it clear? So as part of today's resolution, we are saying that we will run a competition, we will choose one of them, because what we cannot have is a future council meeting where we reject all of them after we've done those, because that would completely reject the group that we're doing here, wouldn't it?
It would. Councillor Brown.
We cannot say that we have to accept one of them because they could all be.
We can say we can run a competition to try and find a new logo. So it's in the wording.
And that influence could go on to further the design. It could take bits which will.
We could say the choice from the basis for design.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Councillor Brown, last comment.
I was going to second.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Did we actually come up with agree the figure then, or is that part of the proposal?
I suggested £500, but I don't think that was in a proposal. I think it's a reasonable amount of money.
Well, Councillor Clay's proposal was that we get into competition, so are you happy to add the value to that? Yeah. Saves us hassle.
Councillor Puccini?
Do we know how much it would cost on the market to get the logo? Do we know for certain that we're making a saving?
Yes. I've been through a branding exercise. It was with a government department, admitted, but you're looking £500,000.
Okay. Never done one, we'll see. Okay.
Okay, so we have, my proposal has been seconded by Councillor Clay. Can we have a show of hands, please? Thank you, that's unanimous. Item 24 is the Code of Conduct and the ongoing defamation of DPC to receive an update. I met with the monitoring officer today, further to the recent post on Facebook, which was not short. She is going to write to the person and advise that if it doesn't stop, she'll be taking legal action. So we note that. Item 25, sorry, I've said that we'll note that. Does anybody wish to discuss and determine?
It's not.
Okay.
Councillor Andreoli.
Well, it does say to discuss and determine action, and I I can kind of agree that we will note your report and await any developments. Anybody else? But I'm happy to note.
Thank you. So, sorry, Councillor Brown,
We should have a vote on it. There is
can we vote that we note? Sorry, Councillor Scoley.
Yeah, so I mean, Julie Clemenson's been getting a lot of aggro as well because Louise, which apparently she went back to Louise, outlining her position, and then Louise got a little bit frowsty with her and started calling her names and things, and so she wasn't too pleased. But I thought, what the only ones.
Okay, thank you. So we note that. Thank you. Item 25 is Hampshire Association of Local Councils Communication Awards. The categories include Council of the Year, Clerk of the Year, Best Local Council Website, Best Local Council Newsletter, and Best Use of Social Media in Public Engagement. Entries, should we decide to enter, need to be submitted by 5 p.m. on Friday the 29th of September to discuss and determine. Councillor Brown. Oh, sorry, Councillor Andrew first.
I would say that we have traditionally put in the newsletter, and in the past we put in our website. And we have a new website, so I propose that we should, at the very least, nominate ourselves for the Best Local Council website and the Best Local Council newsletter. I don't believe I can comment on the others, and I show no disrespect for the clerk, but she hasn't been with us very long to be Clerk of the Year.
Clerk of the Year. Oh, God, no.
And we haven't really started hugely on social media, so if that was a proposal, I'm happy to second. Can I have show of hands then, please? Thank you, that's unanimous. Item 26 is the confidential report to pass a resolution by the Public Bodies Admissions to Meetings Act of 1960 to exclude the public and press for discussion of confidential report relating to the following. Item A, matters relating to a residential use lot.
Yeah, no, that's on the agenda.
No, it's on the
that
agenda.
Oh, okay, sorry, yes, matters relating to a residential boundary within the parish, matters relating to trees and a residential property, and the DCC lease update and room rental to receive a report from the lease working party.
I so move.